Okay, going to talk really quickly about how we add a quiz to a course. First thing you need to do is be in a course in which you're a teacher and turn the editing on. Anything you want to do in a course, you've got to turn the editing on. A quiz is an activity, so we go across to the topic or the week or whichever format you have your course in, but we want to add an activity. So I'm going to add an activity in topic 2, and you'll see down there one of the options is quiz. So click on the quiz option, and Moodle goes away and says, okay, well now fill in this form. So I basically just fill in the form, test quiz, this is a quiz, and then there's a bunch of different options you can choose to use or choose not to use. So when you want the quiz to be open and shut, how long the kids have got for it, whether there's any delay before their attempts, how many questions you want on a page, do you want to shuffle with the questions on the page, do you want to shuffle within the questions. The adaptive mode basically means that the students can submit a question, they'll be told instantaneously whether or not it's right or wrong, and then they have the option of correcting their submission, and if so, do you want to apply penalties, and if so, how much? What can the kids see straight away after they're finished, while the quiz is open and after the quiz is closed? Do you want to try and do it within a secure browser window, and do you want a password? Groups stuff, what feedback you want, so awesome effort for 100%, and then you can put in what other boundaries you want. Another go at 50%, and you can add however much feedback you want. Now, that's not the quiz, that's just basically the front page of the quiz and how the parameters that the quiz operates within. So if we click on Save and Display, it takes us to another page where we can start to add questions. Okay, so we've got a bunch of different questions. You can either choose to use questions from within a question bank that already exists, and there are a variety of different categories. So there are questions that are default for, there's a category that's default for this particular quiz. There's categories that are default for this particular course or other courses if they've been shared, and yeah, so there's a variety of different categories. It's a good idea to think about where you put your questions and talk within your faculty so that everyone can use each other's questions in a variety of different courses. But of course we can always create a new question, so that's that link here. And we've got a variety of different options of question types. Now probably the easiest way for you to see how they work is to try using them. Alternatively, you can always click on the little help button over there and it will give you some options about the particular question. So we might go with a true or false question and think about the category we want to put it into, and I'm just going to put it in the test quiz category. And I like to name the questions with the name that makes sense to someone else that was going to read it. So is Moodle cool is the question, and then I actually just copy and paste that into the question text. So that's the question text is what the kids will actually see when they're working through it. How much is this question going to be worth? And 1's fine. Penalty factor if they get it wrong. What feedback? So the feedback the kids might get, and the correct answer for this is of course true. And you can choose to give feedback. Now, depending on the question type, these things might be different. Save the changes, and my question now appears under the list in the question bank. Now you'll notice that there are no questions within this quiz, so we need to actually add that question to the quiz, and that's really easy too. You select the question or questions that you wish to add, and down the bottom here we just say select with selected add to quiz, and you can see now that my quiz consists of one question, and it's worth 1 mark, but it's going to be, the quiz itself is going to be graded out of 10. Now you can also add questions from different categories or even random questions. So I quite like looking at, well, maybe we'll grab the 2 times tables questions, and we might add one random question from the 2 times table quiz. So, or we could select all of those 2 times tables questions and then add them to the quiz. So now my quiz consists of a variety of different questions. There are 22 questions. Something that you've got to be careful of is that the maximum grade down here reflects what you want it to be reflecting, because this will work out some weird percentage. The grade stuff is what will appear in the grade book within the Moodle course as well. And just click Save Changes. And my quiz is ready to go. So it's always a good idea to actually check your quiz once you're done. So I'll go back to my course. And we see test quizzes available there. Good way to do it is to change your role up in the top left hand corner here to be a student. So you can actually see how the students will interact with this quiz. Go into the quiz. And this is basically what the kids will see when they go in. So it says, this is a quiz, so the intro text to it, and then you've got the option of attempting the quiz now. Is Moodle cool? Yes, it is. And I can choose to submit each question individually, or I can scroll right to the end and submit. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and I could choose to submit that answer. And Moodle goes away and says, yes, I got that one right, which is fantastic. If you're using quiz, it's a good idea to go through the whole lot, just to make sure that you haven't made any typos when you were choosing which ones were right and which ones were wrong, because there's nothing worse than sitting in a quiz and realising that you've made a mistake after the kids have all started. So that's how we add a quiz and how we add questions to a quiz.